But anyway, this is Nick Oliveri, No Hits at All, volume number 7, 10 tracks, 35 minutes. This is the 7th volume in a series of releases that are taken from the archives of the man most known for his work in Kyuss and Queens of the Stone Age. Released July 2021 by Heavy Psych Sounds, these songs are works from his 25-year-plus career that he's recorded vocals on as either a member of the band or as a guest. That is the whole premise of this entire series. So here we go. I'm not too sure of more actual specific details on this one, but there's a lot of covers in this one too. So that seems to be a trend that goes in there as well. But Tim, how did you go?
Now, Kyuss, one of those bands that you either love it or hate it. Depends on whether you're not what your opinion of stoner rock is.
Yep.
And I really like Kyuss, and I think they're a very talented band. They produced two of the great songwriters, John Garcia and Josh Homme. I don't think Nick Oliveri gets. I don't think Nick Oliveri has their talent though.
No, I'm going to agree with you on that.
And I think this album is I listened to it a couple of times, and the more I listened to it, the more I enjoyed it, the more I got it. That doesn't mean it wasn't a mess though.
A bit disjointed.
It is a little bit of a mess. And his vocal style as a fun backing vocal for the odd Queens of the Stone Age song or the odd lead for a Queens of the Stone Age song is fine. Singing by himself, I just find it rather annoying.
Yep.
Yeah. When I was listening to it today, I was thinking he's like the Ringo of Kyuss, but it's a bit of an insult to Ringo, to be perfectly honest.
Cool.
Hey, look, post Beatles, Ringo had some good albums, and this one,
song.
And that's not to say there's nothing to like about this. The tones are fantastic. His bass tone is phenomenal. Which again, if you listen to Kyuss or Queen, that's not a surprise. There are some good riffs all over this, but again, the whole thing just feels the composition just feels slapped together and poorly thought out, and I didn't really enjoy it, to be all perfectly honest.
Okay,
yeah. I'll give it a 3 because that's pretty much what I'll put on good bass tone and nice riffs here and there. If I had to pick a highlight, I'd say Me 262. But apart from that, and this is from a guy who enjoys the style and enjoys both of his other bands.
I'm actually really glad it's you doing this one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was not a fan at all. I think Nick's better off being the Billy Brownless of a band rather than the Gary Ablett.
Actually, in terms of
well, I think Andrew is just frozen slightly.
A lot of sense that you would put it that way because I've got. Yep. Sorry. Am I back again?
Yeah, you go.
Yep. Cool. Cool. A bit of a lag, and it's usually the case with Australian internet. So my apologies to all out there watching tonight. But the things you were saying there struck a chord with my review because I've got basically my footnote on this whole thing is that he's better off when he's working with other people. The songs I enjoyed the most on this were the collaboration songs, not ones that were from his archives. So the ones that he collaborated on and the ones that were the covers were the ones I enjoyed more, and the ones that were pure originals didn't really grab me. And it's like I said, I'm glad that you did the review on this one with me because I'm not the biggest. I really got into Mastodon for the first time this year. I know it's not the same thing, but you're the one that knows this genre, this world, much more than I do. And to hear you say what you've said about it makes me feel less bad, if that makes sense, because it's really going to come down to taste. Look, if you like your stoner, that kind of rock, Queens of Stone Age, Kyuss, all sorts of stuff, you're going to get some of that here. I don't know. It's a bit more punk than doom, so to speak, in a lot of respects. Like I'm Your Son is definitely a lot more bitey and less sort of sludgy stoner kind of rock kind of thing. As a listen, it's got some different tones across it, some good gear change, all that sort of stuff. But it does also throw into when you've got some really warm stuff and some really harsh stuff, it does make the whole thing feel disjointed, unbalanced, and it doesn't flow quite right. You got some stripped back, lo-fi moments, some nice round. Like, it's got a bit of everything here, and it's just sort of. I know it's a collection of songs from a period of time or whatever. I'm not sure, but it doesn't like this one. Out of all the albums we've done today, this is not that long, but it felt long. Did you get that as well? Like, it felt like it dragged, and like the performances are good enough, the production's good enough. It does the things here. There's some interesting covers. Like, you got Blue Oyster Cult, the Beatles, Simon Stokes, and Roky Erickson as the covers on this one.
I think one of the issues is that it's really busy.
Yeah,
as well. And there's a lot going on without it actually achieving much. But there's a lot of random changes going on, and I don't think it just did not work.
Yeah, well, on that note, the spoken monologue at the end of the Disease with No Control, like that spoken monologue, like a minute plus, is just what? I didn't know what to make of that. I didn't know if there was a joke I missed or some of it. It just, the one that Radiohead did on OK Computer, the Fitter, Happier, More Productive, that one made more sense than what this one does. And I felt like they kind of had the same thing they were trying to achieve. But Radiohead did it a lot better on their attempt at it. I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, I found myself enjoying the collaborative tracks and the covers more than the originals. And for me, it just, if you're a diehard fan, you'll get something out of this. I'm pretty sure you will. But I don't think I'll go back to it. It's not my real wheelhouse. There's nothing here that grabs me and goes, okay, this is. I go through the notes now. I'm struggling to, go to which ones are the ones that sort of really stayed with me, kind of thing, and it's the ones that were collaborative efforts. So for me, it's Up and Down Under, which was with the Black Armada, and Without a Sound, which was with the Full Tone Generator. So when he's got other people around him, he feels like a really good complementary person to put into a band, but making him the focus doesn't seem to be a strength. And that's also, in a way, reflected in the Spotify listens because, Kyuss, Queens of the Stone Age, all that stuff are fucking way up there. Even Full Tone Generator and that sort of stuff will be up there too. But for him, as a Spotify profile, he has like 1,000 listeners a month. So I think that I'm not alone in feeling this way, but I don't know. I was being generous because I don't quite get it. So I'm wondering if, that's why I scored it much higher than you did. But at the same time, I didn't want to be too harsh on it because I'm not a connoisseur of the genre, so to speak. So I was like, okay, it did something, but, will it stay with me? I don't really know about that. So I gave it a 7 out of 10. But that said, there's probably not a lot here that's going to stay with me for long at all. It'll be a forgotten release by the end of the year for sure. So Up and Down Under, Without a Sound, my standouts on it. But yeah, that was the score I gave it there. So my apologies, but yeah, it just didn't grab me. It was just sort of like, yeah, okay, it was a thing, but it was a struggle to get through, especially because I listened to things like 3 or 4 times before I write down my notes. I didn't want to listen to it, if that makes sense. It was okay, but it was like, yeah, when I've got in the same week Ugly Kings and Dream Troll, it's like, yeah, this was ending on a low note.
Yeah, but the way I kind of look at it is like, you never listen to anything in a vacuum. Even if you're only listening to one style of music, it's never in a vacuum. And it's like, am I going to grab this or am I going to grab Kyuss?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or am I going to grab Fu Manchu or Truck Fighters or whoever?
Yeah.
You're not going to reach for this.
No, Queens of the Stone Age, even though I'm not a huge fan, I'll go to those albums before this in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I think it's one for the diehard fans to check out. But if you're not a diehard fan, this won't do anything to make you go, oh, I've got to check this out. That's my thought on that one there for what it's worth. So there we go. But I thought I was the bad guy. Turns out I'm not. So that's all right. So that's cool.
That's all right then.